what's going on. You might have seen her on BHL, The Beat, but it's not a jinx. We're live in studio with the one and only BINX.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, baby, we're a love scene like an emotion picture. Whoa, 'cause you've got me thinking, you've got me thinking.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It is Chaos J here with a spotlight on interview with the one and only BINX. Say what's up, everybody.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me today.
You are so welcome. We appreciate you being here. And I mean, before we get into it, first off, this track is banging.
Oh, thank
Yes,
you.
this is banging. This is dope. As soon as me and the engineer put this on, we're like, okay, all right, all right.
All right, well, we have to thank a London boy for that.
This
song.
is Noble, all right, off of the Buzzed album, which we're going to talk about more. But before we get into all of that, what I want to do is for the people that are new to the whole BINX experience, let's give them a little prologue of what you're about.
Aerodynamically, the bumblebee shouldn't be able to fly. Their wings are too small, and their bodies are too big. But the bumblebee doesn't know that, so it goes on flying anyway. Tucked away in the snowy mountains in the southern tip of Africa, a new species was born. The kind of bee that fears no fear, knows no limits. The kind that poetically enhances an emotional state of mind. Across the Atlantic Ocean, it migrated to New York City, with a musical nectar so sweet, lips dripping with drive, and with a sting ready to swell up popular music. My name is BINX, and I am the African bee.
Watch out. First off, can we just take a moment to acknowledge you was giving off mad slayage right there. That was just Slay City. Like the tides of slayness are pretty high. Okay, so we've got BINX, we've got bees, and we've got Buzz, so it only makes sense that you're here.
Oh my gosh.
With your boy Chaos J on AFTERBUZZ.
Yes.
Okay, so you're from South Africa.
Yeah.
And then you moved to New York.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're here in LA, I hear.
Yeah. I've just got here a week ago.
So you're fresh.
I'm fresh
off
off
the
the
plane.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's intense.
Just fresh off the bomb cyclone in New York.
Pretty much. Okay, so I read one of your interviews where you said that you were able to accomplish so much in the first week that you were here in comparison to the grind that you put in New York City. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I was visiting here in LA in July, and I was only here for a week. It was just kind of like I just wanted to get like a feel. I'd been here before, but I hadn't been here for a while, so I wanted to like set up interviews and shows and meetings and networking, and it was insane. I mean, we got here, and my assistant and I, and it was just the amount of things I felt like I accomplished, or the people I met, or the things I had experienced was just crazy in comparison to how long it takes for something to happen in New York.
Right.
I was doing really well in New York, and I was very happy there. And then I had people left and right telling me, like, why aren't you here? You need to be here. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, New York is exactly the same. I was like, it's a matter of preference, isn't it? And they were like, no. They were like, you need to be here. So I was like, okay, I need to make the move by the new year. So I had everything packed up at the end of last year, and I just made my way over now. So
Awesome.
Happy to be here.
That's pretty intense. It could be scary for some. You know, there are some people that are afraid to move different cities, let alone across the country.
But you know what was weird was when I moved from South Africa to New York, I wasn't nervous at all. And I didn't know a single person. I didn't know an aunt, I didn't know a friend.
Oh, wow.
And I wasn't nervous. But moving from New York to LA, I was so nervous. I was like, am I going to like it? I was like, I love the fast-paced, like ambitious, like savage type nature of New York. And I didn't know if I was going to enjoy the lifestyle of LA, because when I came in July, I felt like I always wanted to take a nap because everything is so slow here.
That's crazy to hear, because there are people that come from other parts of the country where they feel like LA is just go, 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 go. So it's funny to hear you say that it's kind of slow.
I mean, it's still fast, but it was just like, I don't know what it was. It was just, I think it was like the Ubering around. And, you know, usually I just like hop on a subway, grab a taxi.
Right.
And here it was like Uber from Uber, and it just takes all the wines.
Well, and the traffic. Okay, so let's talk about that real quick, because you had quite the ride here today.
Yeah, it's the first thing I told you, right?
Yeah, it's the first thing that we talked about.
I walk in like, I'm BINX, I have these Uber drivers.
And that's like, okay.
I've got motion sickness.
So let's start there. Okay, so how was your ride in?
It was long, even though it wasn't long. I mean, I came in
She went through the hills, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I came in from Beverly Hills. Everyone's going to be like rolling their eyes at me, but I mean, it was just, I'm just like, have the most sensitive stomach. So when we're going through all these wines, I'm like, whoa, stop the car. I need to get into the front seat. It's just not for me. So.
Now tell everybody about your driver, because it sounds like you kind of had a special driver today.
He was so cute. I loved him. He like got in the car, he saw my guitar, and he's like, hey, are you singing today? He's like, twinkle, twinkle, little, and I was like, wait, is he just singing to me, twinkle, twinkle, little star? And then when he saw I was getting motion, like, I was like, oh, this is too much for me. He started singing, ring around the rosy, and I was like, what is this?
So basically, he had the bedtime lullabies on lock.
He was so cute, though, and he was singing to me, keeping me distracted, but he was like, I'll drive smooth for you, don't worry, and he drove really smooth, really slow, so.
See, there you go. Lyft, they not only get you to where you gotta go, they make sure you get there with some entertainment as well. That is dope. Okay, so back to, going from South Africa to New York to LA. Now, we can all agree that traffic here is horrendous, and it does take a little longer to get from place to place when you've got a lot of places to be in a short time to get there. But overall, how would you say, because you were able to accomplish so much in a short period of time, how would you say that's changed your grind, so to speak? Like, you said, and I feel the same way, because I've done a few business trips to New York, and it's grimy, but it's savage. Yeah. And every time I go and I come back, I'm like more inspired and I'm more motivated to do things. So coming here from New York to LA, how has that changed your grind?
I don't think it's changed my grind. I think because I was so well trained in New York for the last 4 years, I think that I'm still very fast paced, and it's all a matter of your personality as well. The grind was so much faster there just because I felt like you have to squish a lot in, and people think you can squish a lot more in because you can get around faster, and they plan a lot more in their day, I think. But coming here, the travel has been like a factor, and I always thought I could maybe work, because you can work on the subway like every now and then, like on your phone or whatever, send some emails. But here I thought, okay, well, I'll just have people Uber me and I'll work in the car, but I mean, I can't look out the window. So I'm getting things the same amount done. So I don't think it's changed too much.
Okay, so then that takes me to my next question, which is, take us through a typical day for BINX.
Okay, so...
And it can be a New York day, since you don't have that many days on ground here. Yeah. Or an LA day. You take your pick.
I mean, they're pretty similar. So, I mean, I'm doing the exact same thing that I was doing in New York here. Is you wake up. The first thing I like to do is sort of do all my social media. I like to set aside some time to make a post, be interactive with people who've commented on my pictures and like some of my friends' pictures. So I usually do that for about an hour or an hour and a half, have some breakfast, and then I already start with my computer. It's laptop on, and if I don't have something planned specifically for the day, it's just emails and bookings, and because I do everything myself. So, you know, I'm booking shows, getting licensing for the songs, and then I usually, in the afternoon, I like to go work out. I love to either go for a run. I never used to like running outside in New York. There was always people in my way.
Right.
And the first thing I did when I got here is like phone my mom. I'm like, I'm running. I'm on a run outside. And she's like, why are you phoning me in the middle of your run? I was like, because there's no one in my way. I'm like, I can just run and talk. And it was so cool. And then, yeah, so I just work out. And then I either have shows in the evening or I have interviews like this in the afternoon. And then I start the grind all over again the next day after networking events in the evening. And
So rinse and repeat.
exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that, though. Clearly, BINX is making moves. Okay, so I was reading a piece that the New Yorker did about you, and they compared you to Gaga. Now, there's no shade, but I have to ask you, as an artist, and you're unique. You're BINX. As an artist, is that a diss or a compliment?
It's never a diss. When somebody compares you to someone who you obviously look up to, it's always a compliment. I don't obviously want to be categorized as somebody specific because I'm not somebody specific. I mean, I've got my own whole thing going on. I'm from South Africa. I've got my own alter ego going and my own sound of music. But I mean, it's happened to everyone. If you're not, people love to compare. You're going to compare your last boyfriend to your current boyfriend. You're going to compare Gaga to Madonna. You know, people have Britney to, you know, whoever. It's just, people are always getting compared. It's very flattering when they're your idols, I think. And Lady Gaga is one of my idols. I think she is one of the most game-changing icons of our generation. You know, she does whatever she wants and she makes statements, and I love it. So.
And you do whatever you want, am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so since we're talking about that, and we're talking about comparisons and whatnot, who are your influences?
My influences...
Musically, that is.
Musically. Well, so I didn't really have a choice growing up, when, you know, who you listen to because your parents play music. And my dad is a big fan of the Rolling Stones and David Bowie and The Clash and The Jam. So that was all I grew up with. And so now the Rolling Stones are one of my biggest inspirations. They're the reason I have my B logo, because I always wanted to have a logo. And I was like, you know, the Stones are so well branded. I'm like, you know, I need to have my own logo. So when I was 10, I decided to come up with the B. And then when I was 16, I really got into David Bowie. And I was like, wow, this guy is so original and he's so unique. And he just, you know, same as Gaga, he does his own thing. And I wanted to have my own alter ego, which was already developing when I was 10. But I like full blown started dressing like a bee. And then when I got to like the open mic scene as well, people started saying like, are you that South African bee? You know, because they always saw me dressed like a bumblebee. And then I became the African bee. But yeah, so the Rolling Stones, David Bowie, I mean, I love Madonna. Britney was the reason I became a singer. I mean, when I was 7 and I saw Hit Me Baby One More Time come on, I was like, that is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so how long would you say you've been essentially in the music game, and then not just in the music game as a professional singer, but just how long have you been actively working on music in terms of, you know, you said you started around 10. So exactly how long would you say that, like, when you got really serious about your music and your craft?
I mean, so the first song I ever sang was Ruby Tuesday by the Rolling Stones when I was 2. Then I turned 7 and I started writing a song. I remember writing my first song when I was about 6 or 7. And then when I turned 10, that was when I started getting a logo. I started building a band just with my friends.
Oh, wow.
And then when I was 16, that was when I sewed the bee outfit. So I mean, it's been a thing. Like, no one ever said to me, what are you going to be one day? You know, everyone, like my parents, my friends were always just like, oh, she's just going to be a pop star. That's all she wants to do, you know? But I think from high school, I was trying to find how to start recording music. Because when I was 10, I could write music. And someone who was teaching me guitar at the time he would always put the chords in for me. He always wanted me to play covers, and I didn't want to play covers.
Right.
I was like, I don't want to sing other people's music. I write all this music. Can you help me put chords to it? So he would help me put chords, and I was just like, how does he do this? And I think I turned like, I don't know how old I was 14 or something. I was like, I'm so over it because I'm impatient.
Right.
I was like, I'm so tired of him telling me like which chords go where. So I picked up my guitar and I just wrote a song and I did all the chords. And then when I went back to him, he's like, how did you do this? I was like, I have no idea. He's like, how did you know this chord went with this chord? I was like, I have no idea. And since then, I haven't stopped. And then I had some producers from LA contact me while I was still in high school, and they were wanting to work with me, wanting to produce. So I actually flew over to LA with my dad, and we recorded a couple songs. Then I had some radio people reaching out to me, and it just kind of snowballed. And then when I turned 18, 19, I performed at the South African Traditional Music Awards, and I sort of built like a foundation there, was getting some radio airplay there, was really building myself in South Africa. And then I came to New York and I had a Sony Music Scout. Well, he's the reason I also went over. He wanted to work with me. So I was there ready to knock on his door, and he took me under his wing, and I've been doing it ever since.
Okay, that's awesome. Basically, it's just musicality just flows through you to the point where you can literally just bang out a song
Oh, yeah.
just on the guitar just
All
because
the
you're like,
time.
you know what? I'm tired of you telling me what to do.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Well, it was like that with piano. I mean, I hated piano. I think I took lessons 5 times with so many different teachers, and I'm like, now I'm really going to learn. And then I would learn, I'm like, this is boring me so much.
Right.
And then I was just like, okay, I don't want to do it anymore. Quit like 4 or 5 times. And then finally I just self-taught. And I was like, wow, okay, I like this.
Take notes, everybody. Okay, so from that point when you know at a very early age established that this was what you wanted to do, music was what you wanted to do, to present day, what would you say one of the most important things, what would be one of the most important things that you've learned coming through, establishing yourself as an artist and building your craft and perfecting your craft?
I would so you want to know my sort of lesson that I've learned?
Yeah, what's one of the most important things? I mean, it can be a series of things or just one thing in particular most important that you've learned.
I think my most important thing that I learned was like I said, I'm a very impatient person, and I set very big goals. And I think a few years ago, I was ready to jump from point A to point Z in no time at all. And I didn't really want to go through each step to get to the last step. And I think after a year and a half ago, when I went through something, it changed my whole perspective on my music career and on my life. I was like, you know what, like, because I was getting disappointed and I was not getting to places as fast as I wanted to, even though I was doing so well, and people were like, whoa, you've made it. And I was like, what do you mean I've made it? I'm like, I haven't made it. I've still got all these goals in my head, but in everybody's eyes that mattered, like my friends and my family, they were just like, we're so proud of you. They're like, you've made it to us. And I was like, you know what? If I'm not enjoying every single performance, every single interaction with somebody, every song that I write, every single day that something new happens to me, then I shouldn't be in this industry.
Right. Because
you're not going to be happy if you're not living day by day and enjoying each opportunity that comes to you. And whatever else comes after that is a bonus. My dream was to live in New York. And I mean, it was LA first, but New York first, then LA. I wanted to sing every night. That's what I wanted. And I got it. Like, I got to New York. I came from the smallest hometown, had no money at all. I had to make all the money myself to buy a plane ticket to get to America, and I did it. And I live here now. I sing, I write music. I couldn't ask for more.
Making major money moves right there. And then not only that, but I also read that you had one of your first videos, you got crowdfunded.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Oh, it was awesome. It was just this very cool concept. This company was looking for unique artists across America that were sort of doing their own thing in different genres. So there were about, I think, 24 of us, and we were all like, either one was R&B, one was folk, one was rock, pop, anything, and basically what they did was they put money into all of us to establish our brands and and you know, all these things that, you know, they helped design so much stuff for me that I will forever
that's
be
cool.
grateful for, you know.
Right.
I never lost anything from it, and basically it was like a competition. They put all these artists on a website, and whoever got the most bids on like fans would get signed to this indie label. And I think I came 6th out of the 24, but whoever doesn't get the first place, everybody who put money got their money refunded. So like it was like a bidding thing, so if I had won, that money would have stayed towards my career. But I mean, I hadn't lost anything because the label had already put so much into me to get me to that point that it just sort of elevated me for the next point of my career. So it was great.
Okay, that's awesome. So let's kind of get into your creative process, because now we're on Buzzed, which is currently out, and then your first album was The African Bee.
Yeah.
Your EP. So there's definitely a difference between these two. So let's break down, what was your creative process when you decided to go in and start making Buzzed, and how was your approach different from when you recorded Buzzed versus when you recorded The African Bee?
So The African Bee, I mean, it's got songs from when I was very young. So I was 16 with one of those. Radiohead I wrote when I was 16. And that was like the lead single of the album. And I mean, I released that when it was a year and a half ago. So it was a very old song. And some of those also when I was 19. So it was kind of like a mixture of songs I'd recently written and songs from like a while ago, like when I was first sort of finding my writing. And in the midst, just before I released that, something very awful happened. And I was kind of forced to put the album out, forced in a way that I knew would make my family happy, and they asked if I would put it out when I didn't really want to. So it got put out, and it was put out on my dad's birthday, which was the 13th of September. And then the follow-up of that album was basically, I mean, that was the worst year of my life. So straight after I had put out The African Bee, I was in the lowest of lows, and I was writing very emotional music. I didn't think I was actually going to ever write again. The first song I wrote for that album was Jack Flash, and that I wrote on a plane on my way back to South Africa. And the rest of the songs, Like a Wave was also written a few years back, but that was the first album that was going to be put to the album Jack Flash. And so that album is a lot more emotional. It speaks of heartbreak. It speaks of mourning someone. It's got a lot of heartbreak in it, but it's also an extremely uplifting album. So we've got songs like Paradise, where it's the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's about having those people who get you through those moments that you would not have been able to get through if you didn't have someone by your side checking in on you or encouraging you to do, you know, to keep going. Because like I said, I was ready to give up music, and I had a friend of mine who just, because she always knew that a cordless microphone was like the dream of mine to have, and she bought it for me, and she's like, now I bought you this expensive gift, you have no choice but to sing. And I was like, oh damn, okay. So I was like,
you put me on the spot.
Yeah, so I was like, okay,
but that's good that you have such a strong support system behind you.
Yeah.
So basically it's safe to say that this is a more personal album.
Very personal. Very, very personal. Like probably the most vulnerable I could ever be. So.
But sometimes that's when the best music comes out. That's when you create magic.
Well, my pianist said that. He said after everything that happened, he said, you know, you've never written better. And my dad always says, like, you're never your best self till you've had your worst. So. Oh,
wow. Okay. See, I hope you guys out there are taking notes, because BINX is dropping some knowledge gems right now. Okay. So let's just jump into a little bit of what you have coming up, because you've got some stuff on the plate. Like, you're not just sitting around, you know, doing some street stuff. Nothing against people that are doing some street stuff and
you gotta do that street stuff too. You gotta get
grimy.
Yes.
But
always.
I heard from somewhere that you just did a stadium show.
Yeah, I did.
Let's talk about that. You did a stadium show?
Flip, it was so
I've gone to a stadium, but I've never done a stadium show.
Well, I mean, neither did I till a month ago. It was crazy. I went home to South Africa for my press tour for the end of the year for the album. and I had a hometown show that I booked for the first time since I basically left like 5 years ago. And I performed at this hometown show, and, you know, someone was watching me perform and was blown away by the show and basically said, there's this big stadium show coming up, we want you to be a part of it. They had already booked everyone months in advance, and they were like, please, can you do it? And I was like, yeah. I think let me check my schedule. I can do it.
Let me look. I ain't got nothing going on today. Let's go.
It's exactly how it was. And I mean, it was in front of 10,000 people. It was the biggest show I've ever, I mean, I've done the US Open.
Right.
But that was the biggest show by far, I think. And in South Africa as well. So, and I think the coolest thing about that was a year and a half ago, I had a dream about me. When I was giving up music, I wanted to give up music, and I had this dream where basically I found myself performing on a stadium on a beach, and I was like, okay, I need to keep doing this. Like, I need to, for everyone who loves me and for myself. And then I didn't realize until as I was about to step on stage, as they were like announcing like BINX, the African Bee, I was like,
just hits.
Wait a minute. I was like, I had a dream that I was going to be singing on a beach, on a stadium, and it was in my hometown, and I was like, this is crazy.
Right, that's goosebumps right there.
It was. But
that's crazy, and that's awesome that you did that, and it's awesome that it happened for you. So, all right. So the next question I have for you is with the stadium show. When it comes to how often do you go back home?
Probably once a year. Just to sort of wrap up. I mean, since I've done the other album, I like to go back and do like some press, some radio, see my family, do nothing, have Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you done any collaborations with any local artists from South Africa?
I actually have. So when I told you I performed at the South African Traditional Music Awards, I collaborated with someone named Nyamazana. And he was like, he did like Maskandi music, and I was straight pop, and put us together, and we did a song called Bambanani, and we performed it at that, and at a morning show called Espresso. And yeah, the song is about like, it's Ikawe Lesizwe Nelson Mandela, which is like our king, our hero, Nelson Mandela. So we wrote that for Mandela Day. So he was my cool like little South African collaboration, and definitely with new music I'm going to be reaching out to a couple more South Africans for some influence.
Okay. That sounds like some fire that we all should be checking for. Now, the next question I have is #goals. What artist would you like to work with? If you could have your dream list of 3 or 4 different artists.
You shouldn't ask me this question. I'd be like, let me get out my list. Okay, well, of course, the queen herself, the queen bee herself.
I mean,
Beyonce.
obviously.
I love her. I really love Jason Derulo.
Okay.
He is like, oh my gosh. And I really love Neon Trees. They're very, very cool. And my favorite discovery right now is a band called the 1975. And they're like from London. I think they're from London, or they're from the UK. And I would love to do a collaboration with Nicki Minaj and also B.O.B. because I co-wrote a song with the person who wrote his song Airplanes. So that was my song Headlights. We co-wrote that together, and that was very cool. So yeah, I mean, the list would go. I mean, the Rolling Stones.
Well, of course.
Number one,
that's definitely the Rolling Stones. Bay is, I mean, that's a given.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty nice little list right there.
Yeah, but I definitely think Jason Derulo and I would like come up with something very cool.
Yeah, definitely. Riding Solo.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
sorry, I had to do
Jason
it.
Derulo.
That was probably one of the first songs that I kind of was like, okay, like I'm kind of checking for Jason at that point was the Riding Solo.
Yeah.
Okay. So just random, but let's talk New York, LA. Tell me 2 things that you love about New York, 2 things you hated about New York, 2 things you love about LA, and 2 things you don't quite like about LA.
Sure, putting me on the spot. Okay, so 2 things I love about New York. I love the freedom of New York to be whoever you want to be. I love that about New York. Number 2, I love how easy it is to get around and to network. It's just the easiest thing. I mean, I like I said, I could just hop on subway whenever I wanted, and I was at some place. 2 things I didn't like. It's hard to think about that because New York is my favorite city in the whole world.
Okay.
But the smell. The smell for sure.
You wouldn't be the only person that said
Woo!
that.
I mean, you can't eat and walk when you're like rushing because you just
Right.
get whiffs of like things on the street. You don't want to be
just stank
smelling.
all up in the air. Just like, is that my hot dog or
Yeah.
what is this? I know I took a shower today.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, is it me? But the other thing would probably be, and this is like a mixed emotion. It's the fact that there's so much going on that you feel guilty if you aren't doing something. So I can never relax in New York because I'll be in bed and I'll be like having done things like the whole week, and then I'll like have a Sunday where I'm like, this is my day.
Right.
And I'm gonna turn my phone off. I want to watch series. I want to eat chocolates, and I like get into my bed and I'm like, well, what could I be doing today? I can hear everybody's outside. I can hear everyone's at brunch. I can hear people like at these events, and I'm just
Right.
like, I feel so guilty. And then, so that's hard because I can never just like chill.
Well, don't worry. You're going to get that here too.
Yeah, I'm gonna take all my naps here as well. But and then LA. So one thing I love is, I didn't realize, but I feel like it's a mixture of South Africa and New York. So I didn't think that was what it was gonna be, but the weather is just making me the happiest person in the world.
Okay.
I'm like a sun person.
Okay.
You know, some people write better like in bright rooms or
Right.
like not dark rooms. I love the sun. Like when I just look at the sun, I'll want to write a song.
Right.
I'm like weird about the sun, and I don't know if it's got something to do about Africa. So the weather for 1. 2, I would definitely say, it's weird. People in New York don't really pay attention to the bee outfit when I'm walking on the street because there's so many like crazy people there that
Right.
they're just like, oh, there goes a bumblebee, you know. But in LA, everyone's like, tell me about your style, and I'm like, okay. They're like, I want to know all about this. They just really want to know your story. I
Right.
think they're more friendly and personable in LA.
Right.
Like the Uber drivers.
Okay, because I mean, it's not every day you get in an Uber.
Oh, no.
And he's singing to you
No.
to help calm the motion sickness.
No. And that
mean,
is the
that's a
one
big
thing
deal.
I hate, is the motion sickness. Oh, could do
Okay.
without that.
How many languages do you speak?
Well, I speak English fluently.
Ha ha ha.
And then I do speak Afrikaans and Xhosa, but I'm losing a lot of it because I haven't been home for so long, and when I go home I don't really speak it as much. I mean, I
Right.
speak it there to try brush up on it, but I was quite fluent. But I do sing in one of my songs on Buzz is called African Heart. Oh no, excuse me, that is actually on the first album. That's called The African Bee. And I sing in Xhosa, so I go, don't let them steal your spark. Go back, go to Africa. And it's, don't let the US steal your style. Get cliche. So it's like all like the clicks and
Bars. Bars. I only know one language.
and that
She
is
knows 3. And she just sang in one back and forth. Okay, so I see you got your guitar.
I do.
I mean, are you gonna break something down for us? Can we hear some live BINX
Of
on
course.
Spotlight On?
This is my baby Martin. Do you like it?
Yes, Martin is very sleek. He's got the matte black look going on.
He's the travel guitar.
Hey, Martin is styling.
Martin is styling. Do you want me to play now?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go for it.
All right. So I'm gonna sing. I wonder if I should put this behind. So I'm gonna sing a song from my latest album, Buzzed, and it's called Like a Wave. So this is about my first love, and he was from my hometown in South Africa.
Okay.
So let's check this out. I left you home, hit the road, and now it's all unknown. Are you dreaming of her? Are you dreaming of me? I drain your ocean, I'm drunk in your sea. You're in my head, in your bed, I'm awake. I play pretend, my heart isn't dead. All of my friends, all of your friends talk like this is the end, but it's never the end. 'Cause I want you,
you want me, but babe, you made me believe that what we had was magic, our love was magnetic, drifting away now, like a wave we go up, like a wave we crash down, like a wave we go up, like a wave we crash down again. You are extreme, but I like to keep you next to me to dream disastrously. And I got a fever from this mess we call love. It always starts and ends the same way. All of my friends, all of your friends want this to end, but it never ends. Part of my heart, all of my head wants this to end, but it never ends. 'Cause I want you, you want me, but babe, you made me believe that what we had was magic, our love was magnetic. I'm drifting away now, yeah, like a wave we go up, like a wave we crash down, like a wave we go up, like a wave we crash down. Allow myself to drown just to taste your breath. Look what you've done, I want you again. Crash into me now, how do I love you when you let me drown, drown, drown? 'Cause I want you, you want me, but babe, you made me believe that what we had was magic, our love was magnetic, drifting away now. 'Cause I want you, you want me, but baby, you made me believe what we had was magic, our love was magnetic, drifting away now, like a wave we go up, like a wave we crash down, like a wave we go up, like a wave we crash down. We're going down, like a wave we go up, like a wave we crash down again.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was BINX official off of her album Buzzed, which you can get from BINXofficial.com. It's
Yeah.
also on iTunes.
Yes, iTunes,
So-
Google Play, Spotify.
Spotify, look at that. She's also got a SoundCloud, so you can follow her on SoundCloud. She's already on Instagram. She's on Twitter, and it's simple because it's just BINX Official.
Yeah,
That was
it's
acoustics.
official.
That was acoustics. There was no auto-tune. She had no background singers. That was just raw awesomeness right there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you take a note. Again, bravo
Thanks.
for that. Okay, so you said Like a Wave
Yeah.
was a song that you wrote for an ex.
Yes.
Okay, so I have to ask
All right.
for the fans, all the fellas that's going to be
I'm
tuning in,
scared.
that's going to be checking this out. Are you single or are you in a relationship?
I am single.
Gentlemen, there you have it. She is single. Okay, so now everybody's got their quirks. Everybody's got their little things. Let's talk. What are some quirks that you have? And is it anything that would scare someone away? Or is it just a random, weird, like funky little quirk that's just, unique to BINX?
I have so many of those things, but now whenever I'm put on the spot, I'm like, let me think. Weird quirks.
Anything that you would have to warn, like, oh, hey, like, we're going to start this dating thing, but I just need you to know.
I think the biggest quirk for me is if I'm gonna start dating someone, I'm like, heads up, do you know I have a thing for bees? I mean, I don't want to date someone and they have no idea I'm like this bee character.
Right.
I think it's the funniest thing when people, like if, like on like those dating profiles and you just like see this person that's dressed like a bumblebee, what do you say? Like, what is this? Who
Well, see,
are you?
I feel like in LA you would get a pass just because they'll say like, oh, okay, maybe she's in the cosplay, or maybe that's like a comic book superhero, not knowing.
That is literally my dream. So if anybody wants to collaborate with like some comic book thing, I want to do that. Like
Because BINX is kick ass. So there you have it. Superhero comics. Let's make that happen.
I would love that. I would love to be the cool like African bee with some sort of African bee superpower.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, now if you could have any superpower of your choosing, what would it be?
To fly.
Okay. That's it? I mean,
if I
you
could
got
pick
two,
all of them.
I mean, if you can get two, you have one more. You can fly, and what else?
Oh, okay, but does this include like, I mean, this is like kind of boring, but I have thought about this, but like, you know, like the Spider-Man has got like the web. I always
Right.
thought if I could like shoot honey. Does that sound really gross?
Well, I don't know if I'd say it was gross, but no, what would you do with this honey?
I don't know, that's
if you
why-
could shoot, like, if you're walking down the street and some guy snatched some woman's purse, and it's like, oh my God,
honey's
somebody
sticky.
help me.
Honey's sticky. It makes people fall
So you
over.
would shoot some
But
honey
I
at
don't want
him.
that. I don't want that. But I always think about that. I'm like, I'd love to be able to just like produce honey. But no, I'd like to fly. And so
we're not shooting honey again?
I
So
guess we're just
okay.
going to wait with the honey
Okay,
shooting.
so just the honey will be at home.
We'll
like
just
you're
wait for the honey for
you're
my.
just like, oh, I want some tea.
Yeah.
Honey.
You know, that's where it's meant to be, I
Okay,
think.
all right.
Honey should stay in a jar. But what else? People always tell me they want to be invisible. And they're like, it's cool because you can like listen in on conversations. So that one's kind of cool. But are we talking about like turning off lights and things and having like magical powers come out
I mean,
of
if
your
you
hand?
want to be, if you want to have, kinetic abilities, by all means.
No,
the
I
world
see-
is your oyster. If
see,
you
I
want to
mean-
just lift things with your mind.
No, I'm indecisive like that. I think I'd like to be invisible, be able to be invisible and fly. Because then I can fly somewhere, be invisible, and be a part of like a million different things that you actually... Because think of how many things you could get into being invisible.
Right.
Like you can go into a club if you're underage. Ooh, I shouldn't say that. Okay, you can be like...
Well, luckily, there's nobody out there that we know of that can,
That can do
make
it,
themselves
so-
invisible.
yeah.
So we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, luckily we don't have to worry about that. But you could go to like cool events that it costs like thousands of dollars to go. You could go to the Grammys. You could go backstage, meet your favorite artist without them knowing you're there.
Pretty much, you'd just be sitting in Beyonce's dressing room.
I would do that all the time.
Just-
That would not be creepy at all.
So then when you finally
While
meet,
she's sleeping.
So then when you finally meet her, like you would hit it off because you already know so much about her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like you're kind of cheating,
I really
but at the
do
same
know-
time,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like an advantage that hey, that's what comes with
I think
having
that's cool.
superpowers.
I mean, wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, hi,
Yeah.
all day. Because I was gonna say if I got a superpower,
what would that
invisibility's
be?
at the top of the list.
Oh, really? Okay, so yeah, let me just be like inspired by you then. Flying and then invisibility.
I mean, hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
The reason I didn't want that is like I don't want to be invisible because I mean look what I'm doing. I'm trying to stand out.
Well,
but
but if you can switch it on and off,
oh, it would be so cool.
right?
So cool. Right now I
Okay.
disappear.
So, having said that, and you can be anywhere that you need to be, everybody needs to check you out. You're going to be at Bar Ludwig.
You said it right.
Hey!
I was trying to teach him how to say it. Ludwig.
On the 10th of February,
Yeah.
which is a Saturday.
Saturday
So,
night.
you probably don't have anything to do but come and get some of these hot BINX tunes.
Can you believe
that's,
he assumes
that's all I'm saying.
that? He assumes your Saturday
I just
night's
assume
gonna be
that you
boring.
have nothing to do. Because I know unless I'm going to a movie or I'm working, I don't have anything to do.
And
so.
if he's not booked doing some sort of thing, you
I
guys
will
should
be
know
there.
he'll be there.
Chaos J will be in the building at Bar Ludwig getting these hot
Stealing
BINX
my spotlight.
gems.
He'll be like signing people's chests.
Not at all. I'll just be fanning out.
I love it.
Fanning out.
I'd like some lights going too.
Maybe I might even have a hot shirt.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I wanna
yellow
see
and
this.
black action going on.
All right, okay.
Black and yellow. I'm
Black
just
and yellow,
saying.
black and yellow, black and yellow.
Exactly. So you're gonna be at Bar Ludwig.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you have going on?
So next week, I was very fortunate to be invited to perform at the NAMM Grand Finale and Grammy Showcase Party in LA. So I'm very, very excited about that. That's next week.
That is dope. Now, for those of you that are like, well, what's the NAMM show? That's the definitive platform for music, sound, and event technology communities. So everybody from those different industries get together and collaborate and just try to make more magic, and you're about to sing at that showcase.
Oh yeah,
That's a big deal.
I'm excited. I promise you, if there was one goal I wanted to get from the beginning of the year, it was to perform at the NAMM show. So I'm excited that I was asked to do that. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right. So again, I gotta plug the album, Buzzed. I gotta plug this Onyx bracelet right here. Now you guys probably can't see this, but this is a custom Onyx bracelet with the BINX signature logo on it.
Yeah.
Tell me about this bracelet.
So this was something I've always wanted to do. A friend of mine designs these bracelets in New York, and I wanted to collaborate with her for the new album so that we had something unique that went with the album for pre-sale. So to pre-order the album, and they're basically black onyx or black crystal. So I have two options on my website. They're black crystal, black onyx, and you can either get it with the album as a package deal for a cheaper price, or you can get the bracelet. And I mean, I sell them at my shows, and they're just fun. Like all my best friends wear them, and they're so supportive. And yeah, I love them. I think it's cool to have my little logo. It's like a lucky charm.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. That is dope. And again, you can get that at BINXofficial.com. Like I said, Bar Ludwig on the 10th of February. So if you don't have anything to do, that's what you need to do. Hands down, no questions. And if you can't remember, if you're just thinking like, oh, I remember I saw BINX, guess what? You can follow her on Twitter. You can follow her on Instagram. You can follow her on SoundCloud or Facebook. And I'm pretty sure you'll have on one of those platforms that update saying, hey guys, Bar Ludwig, it's going down.
Oh yeah. And I'll be like, if you guys are bored and you want to do something different, like hug a bee, why not? Why not?
Because she don't sting.
I don't sting. I'm a honeybee. I only produce honey.
Bam. All in your face. Okay. Again, it was so awesome having you.
Oh, thanks for having
today.
me. You're awesome.
I try. I have my good days.
You have your good days. I'm glad I got your good day. I'm scared of him on his bad day.
Right? Yeah, everybody is. However, like I said, it was great having you here. Hopefully I don't get booked. Yeah. So I can see you.
I hope he does
at
get
your
booked,
show.
But
no. What? What?
Hey,
you hear that? Exactly.
That's my song. I should have written this.
In the studio, doing what it do.
Okay, he's taking it. Okay.
Okay, all right, I'm done. That's all I've got.
I'm out.
That's all I've got. But yes, like I was saying, definitely appreciate you coming down. We're expecting big things from BINX.
Cool.
Keep everybody updated. Like I said, BINX official social media. Make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you hit that like button if you follow her on YouTube, on SoundCloud. Get your bars, cause you heard those vocals. That's not a game right there. That's not auto-tune. So I've been your host, Chaos J, KAAOSJ. You already know you can find me on Twitter. You can also find me on Instagram, Chaos_Oceans31 Oceans. Why? Because your boy's so wavy. This has been Spotlight On with BINX Official. You guys have a great one.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.